Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. As you all know, today is kind of a special day, Shrimataji's birthday, 102 years ago. Now, I'd like to talk a little bit about myself, and then we'll talk about how the world just really enjoys celebrating Shrimataji's birthday. But my name is Heidi. I live in, as it says on the Zoom screen, in Seattle, up in the Pacific Northwest. I spent most of my life on the East Coast, actually, but came up here for my husband's love of hiking. And it's really a very special place for foot soaking and for a lot of other natural activities. We have Puget Sound, which is 5 minutes from my house, and it's a big bowl of cold salt water. And so it's really wonderful for foot soaking. The nature's beautiful. There's mountains on the other side. So it is one of my favorite activities, but I do foot soak at home too. So Shimadaji's birthday is a very special day because for so many people and the world in general, she gave us this gift of real self-realization in a way that was more achievable for so many people than it had been in the past. And this is a beautiful gift, and we like to celebrate that for bringing more peace, love, and joy into the world. I wanted to share just a little bit about my own experience with self-realization, um, because it's so interesting always to hear different people's stories. And kind of see the huge variety that we have had. So, excuse me, I was living in Florida. My sister was in New York. And Thanksgiving in 1985, we met at my mom's house in Greensboro, North Carolina, went for a little walk to the park, and my sister and her husband said, "We wanted to show you something that we learned in our meditation." And I said, "Okay." And I have to admit, I don't remember that they said very much. I remember they were behind me, and I remember that it was a pleasant experience, but I didn't really respond, like wow, or give them a lot of like, that was amazing. I don't know if she was a little disappointed. I never asked her. And at the time, I don't know that I would have said that I felt very much. But it's interesting because with time and meditation, you get more and more aware of your feelings. It's a subtle awareness of your subtle being. So after time, it's interesting that when I look back at that memory, I can clearly see that I felt joy, I felt peace, and I felt hope, kind of, because before that, I was professionally very successful, really academically successful, but I really felt something was missing. I felt a little adrift in the world, like even though you're doing the track of work and success, you really didn't know where, what something was just missing. And I felt like it's funny, but at that time, in a subtle way, I felt more clear and more secure. And I've realized with time that Shimadaji often talks about our subtle awareness and our subtle feelings, because this Mother Kundalini comes up in the center of the spinal cord. So she's clearing us from the inside out. And when life is so busy, we don't always notice what's really in the core of our being. And so with meditation, gradually we get more and more aware. And interestingly enough, looking back at a memory, sometimes I can see the feelings that I had, even though at the time I might have said, "I don't think I feel anything." So the the funny thing is I didn't really say that much to my sister. I went back to Florida. She went to New York, and she didn't send me information right away. I didn't really ask questions. But things did change when I look back. At the time, I didn't notice it. It's kind of like when you plant a tomato seed and it starts to sprout. You don't really notice from day to day until it's been like a period of time. But I did, looking back, realize that things changed even with that realization. And then one time, a bit later, I'm not really sure how much later, she mailed me a picture of Shimadaji, two pictures, a little booklet on Sahaja Yoga, and three tapes. So when I watched the tapes, that was another step in really seeing what Sahaja Yoga was, and really made a big difference to understanding that this is really special. And I was able to, with just that little bit of information, bring it into my daily life. When I used to watch the tapes and feel like I was, kind of in a safe space, a very quiet space. And then when I went to work, I took one picture to work. If something came up that I didn't know how to manage, I'd actually taken kind of a job that was beyond my experience in a way. But I had a beautiful office. It had mahogany furniture, and I had Shimadaji's picture in this little drawer in the desk. And whenever somebody asked me questions that I didn't know, I started the habit of taking Shimadaji's picture out, because I didn't meditate with anyone else. I met, had her picture. I felt I was meditating with her. It really helped me. So I would just take the picture out and kind of ask this question within myself, close my eyes, and then stop thinking about it. And when I felt cool in my hands, I would just open my eyes, and first thing that came in my attention, I'd say, "Okay, I'll do that." And it really worked. And then I still didn't share that much with my sister. Back then we didn't we wrote letters, and we talked every so often, but we were both busy. So then after a little while, she says to me, "Would you like to come to New York and see Shimadaji?" I was like, "You can do that?" I didn't know that you could do it. So I went, and It was a small program in an art gallery. And it's interesting, I felt very peaceful. And I remember at the end, I asked Shumanaji, what do I do? I live in Florida. There's no one there practicing Sahaja Yoga. And she said, I will come. And to me, that just touches my heart so much because over the years, I could just see how much personal attention Shimadaji gave to so many different people. And it was really quite astronomical. But now I even feel as close because we have these videos. And I realized when I watched these videos that my retention of details was not so great, even if I was at a program. You know, the experience of being there was very peaceful. You heard things, they made a lot of sense. You enjoyed yourself. But now when I watch the video, I'm like, wow, I heard that. You know, there's just so much information, so much we can learn and really enjoy from listening. And it really expands the enjoyment of life. And I feel like one analogy I thought of is that before self-realization, I was sort of sailing a boat in a storm and I didn't know where I was going. And then once got realization, learned a little bit about Sahaja Yoga, it felt more like I was sailing through a storm, but I knew what direction I wanted to go. And I feel that's true with all these things we learn about our chakras, that these qualities, we have a more clear picture of what we desire for our being. And so we have ways to get there and to enjoy this growth through Sahaja Yoga. So many people, as I said, so many people in the world. Sometimes we feel in the United States that we're a little spread out, and so some people aren't so close to other people who meditate. But it worked for me even when I was at a distance, and it worked very well. And over time, you gradually meet more people. And nowadays, I can be up here in Puget Sound meditating with a lot of people in different parts of the country and even in Europe and India at times. So it's really quite miraculous and wonderful to be with people from all over through this gift of the internet and our collective programs. So today we get to meditate together. It's very helpful to meditate together. We're going to do a foot soak. So I think what we can do, let's see, is there anything else I need to share before the foot soak? I think just saying thank you, Shumanaji, very much. And thank you all for coming and joining and meditating together tonight. So what we'll do, I think most everybody's done a foot soak before. If you're new, you know, they have the nice picture of the bucket. And usually what I try to do is just really get a little bit meditative before we start the foot soak. You can open your eyes if you feel more comfortable, or if you ever feel sleepy, it's fine to open your eyes. A lot of times I start with closing my eyes to just bring my attention inside and take a few deep breaths. And just before I, start the official foot soak, I'll just quietly bring my attention inside and take some deep breaths. And then be thankful for this gift of the Kundalini in us. And to really appreciate and not take for granted. We want to raise our Kundalini with our attention and our hands, but we want to do it with love. This is what someone shared with me, and I found since I've really been putting an effort into an awareness into this, that this Kundalini is love within us. Love it. And so we put our attention on that, and it helps us feel more during the meditation. So let's all raise our Kundalini first and take a bandhan. And then we take our bandhan, the first one for the first chakra, and then one for each chakra. And we do it nice and slowly, with attention on what we feel in our hands. Because even if you're not feeling cool in your hands yet, the more you put attention on what you feel, you'll gradually be more aware of this energy. And then we can put our right hand over the water. And again, just pay attention to what we feel, even if we don't feel the breeze quite yet. If we do, we can just give a bandhan and just put our attention more on attention to what we feel. And ask in our hearts or out loud to please fill this bucket of water with vibrations, the quality of the earth and the sea, to cleanse all our chakras and to cleanse our being. And then when we feel a little bit peaceful inside and we feel a little cool from the water, we can put our feet in the water. And we'll start out with our hands open on our lap. And just pay attention to what we feel. Do we feel hurried? Are we still thinking of the day? Do we feel heavy? And it's just an observation. So very often at the end of a day, if you've been working or busy during the day, we actually feel a little bit hurried inside. So we'll actually put our left hand up to the ether behind us and the right hand forward. Sometimes we clear the left first, sometimes we can clear the right first. We feel a little hurried. We just ask that any excess energy of the right channel go into the ether. And we can also ask, please let any thoughts or memories, any continued thinking, let any of that energy go into the ether so we can have our mind at rest. And we could put our left hand down on our lap and the right hand towards the ground. Any heaviness, sometimes we pick up energy from the left channel that we're not even aware of. People's sadness, the sadness around us. Any attachments that we may have. Any fears of mistakes we might have made. We can ask all those things to be absorbed into the Mother Earth. Please let any heaviness, any sadness, any worry go into the Mother Earth. Sometimes I like to pull both hands, let both hands rise up together, the central channel, and bring down the right and the left. Because after a busy day or after any day, we just want to lighten the left and the right. And we'll put all our attention on strengthening Mother Kundalini, ability to rise. And this both hands up the center and then down into the Footsoak bucket. And I just sit for a few moments with both hands towards the water. My attention in Sastrara. And it's always nice to put extra attention on the Muladhara chakra, where our body is touching the earth, the chair, even if we're on the second floor or the 10th floor of a building. Gravity is pulling on us, holding us down, holding us safe on the earth. And we can often feel this gravity in our feet because the vibrations flow from our feet and from our hands. And we can just ask that any barriers to innocence, any barriers to wisdom, any barriers to a very clear and joyful, innocent Muladhara be absorbed into the Mother Earth in the form of the salt and the water and the earth itself. The innocence and the purity of these chakras, all the chakras, is there. Just to feel that joy of innocence, we just need to let any clouds over the brilliance underneath be cleared away gradually, gradually into the earth and into the water. It's our desire for this innocence, this joy that, that helps strengthen the Kundalinis, to help strengthen our desire. The Kundalini will clear things. So we can put both our hands on our lap and we can just put our attention on the Swadhisthana, which is the lower part of the abdomen. It's actually the core of your body, the whole core of the body. We put our hand in the lower part of the abdomen. And this is the source of our energy. So the more we meditate, this Kundalini becomes the source of energy, the source of healing, the source of thinking, the source of doing. So we don't need to deplete this energy with excessive thinking, endless, useless thinking. We just save it for what we're doing in the moment, for our awareness. So to help the Swadhisthana, it's very lovely to say, you do everything. This Mother Kundalini is the source of energy that drives our body. So we say, you do everything. I do nothing. We can relax. We don't need to deplete our right side by pushing things or deplete our left side by worrying. We can just do and be in the moment. Then we can slide our hand up to the belly button. The nadi is the inside of our abdomen, the sustenance, the contentment. So here for the navi, you can just say, I am completely satisfied. I am peaceful. And then we can give a little bond down around the whole abdomen and kind of, this is help clearing the void, the ocean of illusion, and very much in the fluid of the abdomen. And here we can just say, I am my own master. I make my decisions based on wisdom, inner wisdom. I don't need the attachments to outside pressures, outside influences. And we just give a bond onto the void and relax. And then we can put that into the water. And then one more thing for the lower chakras is if you put your left hand on the very bottom of your rib cage where the liver's underneath. And here we can just ask, please purify my attention. Please put the coolness of the Himalayas into my liver. You are the energy of my liver. You are the energy of my attention. This divine energy that flows within us can replenish anything that's been depleted. It can heal us and it can replenish us and revive us. So now we can rinse our feet and push that aside, but we'll keep a little bit meditating on upper chakras. I love to put my hand on my heart. There's something about putting your right hand on your heart and putting your attention in your heart and just asking for feeling all the love of this Mother Kundalini flow and filling our heart with love and joy. Any anxiety that we have can be resolved with this energy. I get anxiety sometimes, and I just pat my heart and just say, Mother Kundalini, please come into my heart. Take some deep breaths. Knowing that this mother energy is in us is the biggest cure and antidote to any anxiety. We still might get it at times, but it's really wonderful and beautiful how it can resolve. And if you slide your right hand to your left heart, we all say, I am the spirit, I am pure spirit. But I feel with time, gradually, that becomes more of a reality and lifts any feelings we have of discontentment or inadequacy. I'm the spirit. Please remove any false identifications. Clean my heart so I can know my pure beauty within. And the other thing with the heart is our right heart. We don't want to neglect our right heart. If our right hand is forward and the left hand is on the heart, the right heart is often a little bit neglected when we feel over-responsible. We are here to enjoy life. We want to do a good job. But our responsibility, the right amount of responsibility we want to feel in our heart. The responsibility to be a loving, good citizen and to become the spirit. Please remove any excess heat in my right heart, any over-responsibility. Let me feel the joy of life. Quality of the right heart is also joy. And then for the left neck, we all seem to get left neck problems, which we know the basic affirmation is I'm not guilty. But you can just ask, please remove any low judgment, any low self-esteem, feeling I'm not good enough. I am the spirit. Please clear this left vishuddhi. And then I always like to give bandhans to my neck, the center, the right, and the left. Just give bandhans and put full attention on just feeling light in your throat. This chakra is so important and so wonderful. It's how we communicate and connect with other people. And when you just leave your right hand on the chakra and your left hand forward, it helps give vibrations to that chakra. So we can just sit with our right hand on our throat and our left hand forward, receiving the vibrations. Then we can put our right hand on the forehead. My favorite word, I think, one of my favorite words is forgive. I forgive. But I don't think about anything. I just say the word. It like bathes your brain. When it's too busy and doing things, I just say, I forgive. And just feel it bathe and relax the whole brain. I forgive. And then we can just put our hand up at the top of the head and remember we can feel the Kundalini flowing. We can raise it up the center to the top and higher. See as we raise this energy, if we feel it get stronger and stronger, our attention get more settled. And today, when our attention is in Sastra and our hand at the top of the head, we can say thank you for this gift of feeling this Mother Kundalini nurture us. Thank you for self-realization. You can either sit with your hands on your lap or your hand above. It helps. Sometimes the palm above the top of the head really strengthens the feeling. Or you can sit with just hands on your lap. Just keep your attention above your head, like you have a big, beautiful flower on the top of your head. I think we can raise our Kundalini together, but then there's music. So it's very nice to keep meditating. I always found that it's fine to raise your Kundalini and take a bandhan a couple times. So you can raise it up, just really paying attention to what we feel in our hands or inside of our body. When we feel cool on the hands, it's so important to see what changes we feel inside our body. Do we feel more peaceful? And when you do the bandhan, you can feel this little bubble of protection around you. So when you go out of the house, you can raise your Kundalini, take a bandhan. Well, it's a very special day. The gift of self-realization is with us all. And I believe there's some music. We'll just sit here and enjoy that a little bit more, really absorbing the vibrations that are flowing from our collective meditation, to really absorb them as we sit just a little bit longer in quiet. And if you have thoughts, just ignore that and put all your attention on the quiet inside yourself.